the role of Satan. The role of Satan. First of all, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. I want to give double honor to the apostles of greatness who do rule well. Salutation to the men of the Oakland Saints elect. This is Brother Marcus out here in Trinidad. I just want to do a quick edification for the elect's sake. And as I said before, the name of this title would be The Role of Satan. You know, when you go in church and you hear all these Christians speak, they say, oh, Satan is the enemy of the Most High. He rebelled. Lucifer, he took a third of the angels, and now he coming here to bring hell on earth and trying to take people away from the Most High. Guess what? That is just Roman Catholic theology. I wouldn't even say theology, but you know, Roman Catholic mythology. Alright, because that is not scriptural. The role of Satan, alright, as his name is adversary, alright, or one of the definition for him, the tempter, alright. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is about proving things, alright. If you have a title, therefore you have to live up to this title, alright. If you make a boast or a claim, then you have to live up to this claim. So just like the Most High says that he is the God of gods, he proved it in Egypt when he destroyed all the Egyptian gods and proved that he was the only one true God. Alright? And he said he's also vengeful. And he showed his vengeful side when he destroyed, you know, all the inhabitants of the earth in the flood. But he also said that he's merciful. And how does the Most High show that merciful side? By showing mercy unto men, alright? Mainly the sons of the Most High, Israelites, alright? And the Lord showed that merciful side where he cast us off, but now taking us back, alright? That is how the Lord, as the scripture says in Isaiah, said, Lord, why have thou caused us to err and to stray from thy paths? The creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly. So the Lord cast us off and showed us how much mercy he had by taking us back. So now when it comes to us, our boast is that we love Yahweh Shem Shai. We love this truth. Nothing gonna turn us away. That is our boast. Alright, so then if that is our boast, then we have to live up for it. That is where Satan comes in. Satan's job is to prove you, to test you, to prove that your heart is for Yahweh Shem Shai. That is what Satan's duty is. Alright? Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1, it says, my son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. Who tempting you? The tempter. The tempter is who tempting you. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Alright? Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Why? Because our adversary, the devil, is like a roaring lion seeking about whom he may devour. So if you set your heart aright and resist the devil, he will flee from you. That is why it says, constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble. It says, cleave on him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Alright? So when you come into this truth, you're going to be tempted. And who you being tempted by? Shaitan, the one who we call the devil, who we call Lucifer, which Lucifer in his name, that was just figuratively speaking about the king of Babylon. Alright? That wasn't talking about, you know, the spiritual entity, Hashatan, as it says in the Hebrew. Alright? His job, his sole purpose is the adversary. Alright? To try them that dwell upon the earth. And if you get enticed by him, then you going over on the sinner side where the Lord gonna bring you to judgment. That is his job. Alright? That is his job. The Lord have angels on the right hand and he had angels on the left. He says he sent wicked angels among them. Alright? Didn't the scripture say an unclean spirit from the Most High went on Saul? So the Lord have his righteous angels and his unrighteous angels to do his work. Alright? He have both angels to do, you know, what he want them to do. Alright? Here's the book of Job chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, "Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh," remember that, the sons of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. Now, if he was cast out in the Garden of Eden, how is he in the presence of the Lord? Then some might say, no, that is before he was cast out. So you're trying to tell me that all this was written. Satan knew that, he will rebel against the Lord, and he will lose, and he's going to be destroyed in the end, and still do it? That don't make no damn sense. That don't make no damn sense. All right? It says, "And Yahweh Shai said unto Satan, Whence cometh thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro on the earth." In the scripture says, our adversary lion, going to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. All right? "And from walking up and down in it. And Yahweh Shai said, Hast thou considered my servant Job?" Basically, have you laid your heart upon my servant Job? Because that was his job. That's why the Lord asked him if he considered him. If it wasn't his job, he wouldn't ask him if he considered his servant Job. Because that was his job. His job is, hey, you put Job to the test? All right? They basically, he asking Satan, he say, you put Job to the test yet? All right? "That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil." The word eschew means to avoid. "And Satan answered and said, Doth Job fear Yahweh for naught? Hast thou not made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he had on every side?" It says, "And had blessed the work of his hand, and the substance is increased in his hand." It says, "But put forth thy hand now." And this is what Satan tells the Lord. Put forth your hand now, because he couldn't do nothing without the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. He says, "Put forth thy hand now, and touch all he hath, and he will curse you to thy face." And Yahweh Shemel Shai said unto Satan, "All that he hath is in thy power. Only upon him put forth not thy hand." So Satan went forth from the presence of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So Satan said, "You know what, Lord? Put forth your hand. Allow me to go forth and test him." And the Lord said, "You know what? Go ahead. I'm moving the hedge. You go ahead and you test him and try him." All right? Try him. If he's for me, let me see what he's going to do. And Satan tried him. He killed his cherry. He took all he had. And you know what? At the end of all of that, this is what Job said. He said, verse 20, he says, "Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped and said, Naked I came out of my mother's womb, and naked I shall return thither. And Yahweh Shemel Shai gave, and Yahweh Shemel Shai take it away. Blessed be the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged the Lord foolishly." And that is how Job kept winning. Because in all that he maintained his integrity. So that is what we have to do in this flesh. When we catch hell, when we cast down, the scripture says cast down but not forsaken. You might seem like you cast down. It might seem to others that you cast down. But the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai is there with you, working with you, strengthening you to endure in the fight until it's coming. All you have to do, not because you're not in the position that you once were, because you're not in the livelihood that you once had. The things that you once had were taken away from you. Not because of that. Just remember Job. All right? Not because those things were taken away from you means the Lord not dealing with you. It is because Satan doing his job. You came into this truth. Now he's going to try you to see if your heart really for Yahweh Shemel Shai as you profess. Hey, I love the Lord. Tell I will never do this. No problem. Now all you doing is sicken Satan upon yourself. Satan say, you love the Lord. All right. Let me test. Let me test. Let me test and see. All right? Let me test and see, what you would do. A lot of people, I'm not going to take the vaccine. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And then Satan said, no problem. You know what? Here what? Boss, tell him or tell her, if you don't take that jab, it can't work. And then Satan goes home to the wife or the husband or the children. And instead of complaining, and then you left in a position or you say, hey, I gotta take this job because my family. And boom, you fail that test. You boasting that, you're doing this for the Lord and you're not doing this and you're not doing that. And then you fail because he did his job. It's up you to do your job now. You boasting that, Yahweh Hashem Yeshua is your God. Now you're going to have to live up to it. You're going to have to live up to it. The scripture says every idle word, just remember that, every idle word you make, you're gonna have to give account for it. Every idle word you make, you're gonna have to give an account for it. All right. The book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, "But as we were allowed of Yahweh Hashem Yeshua to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but Yahweh which tried our hearts." So the Lord is who tried our hearts. And how he do it? He does it through Satan and his angels. Because that is his job. He's the adversary. He is the tempter. He is the one that gonna put obstacles in your way to see if your heart really for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright? He's the one. Alright? He's the one that you're gonna get a lot of hell just because you saying Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is your God and you love the Lord and you cursing out people for doing this and for doing that. Guess what? Satan gonna come down on your ass to really prove if you for the Lord or not. Alright? That is his job. His job is to try you. His job is to try you. Lord said in heaven, he said, "Did you consider my servant Makazah? Did you consider my servant such and such?" Alright? He's gonna try you. He's gonna try you. Guess what? The Satan gonna put you in such a position where you're gonna either have to speak the truth or lie. And a lot of times, in situation how the human mind is programmed, you're gonna lie because you don't want to be ashamed. All right? And what's gonna happen to you? Guess what? That lie gonna come right back around. Don't think that when you speak that lie, that is the end of it. You're gonna come right back around and bite in your ass. Alright? That all made, as the scripture says, some men sin go beforehand and some men sins followed after. It's gonna come back to you. Alright? So if you boasting that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is your God, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is your Lord, guess what? You're gonna have to live up to it. Alright? 1 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 5. It says, "For this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your fate, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you, and our labor be in vain." So the tempter gonna come and tempt, but when he comes, you have to do just like Yahushai. You have to, the Lord, tempt not the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Man shall not live by bread alone. Worship Yahweh Hashem. You gotta remember the scriptures. You gotta remember the scriptures. Alright? When Satan comes in your mind, you have to remember the scriptures. A lot of times what he does, he makes you feel like you having that inner monologue, that that you speaking to yourself now. Satan using your voice to talk to you. So you back and forth with Satan, thinking you back and forth with yourself, trying to look for a loophole to get out of the laws. And then you commit sin, and then he laughing because he said, "You know what? I knew you was gonna break." He said, "I knew you was gonna break. Just needed a little persuasion." That is why we have to be sincere about this truth. We have to be sincere about this truth, because guess what? This flesh is weak. The spirit willing, but the flesh is very weak. Very, very, very weak. Alright? Just remember Yahushua was tempted and what he did. He said, "Nah," he said, "Satan," he said, "Listen." Say, "I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this." Alright? Scripture says this and I'm not doing that. Alright? This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 16. It says, "We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstained from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounced the end of the just to be blessed, and make it his boast that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is his father. Let us see if his words be true." See, this is what Satan be saying. Let us see if his words be true. "And let us prove what shall happen to him what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of Yahweh, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of all his enemies." So you making your boast that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is your God, guess what? Now you're going to put yourself under Satan's radar. Now you're going to be tested. Now you're going to be tried. Now you're going to be proved. And now you're going to have to put up that fight. Because while you're being tested and proved, the Lord waiting to see the results. The Lord waiting to see how much your boasting is. Just remember what happened with Jephthah. Jephthah boasted to the Lord, whoever comes out to meet me, if you give me this battle, whoever come out to meet me on my tent, I'm going to sacrifice it unto you. And the Lord said, all right, Satan, go and see how much Jephthah was going to stand. Let his daughter come out. You think his daughter came out just like that? The Lord going to send a dog, a sheep. Who is, when you reach home, what's the first thing to greet you at your doors? Your dog. If you have a dog. I have 2 canicorsos, right? I have 2 canicorsos. And when I come home on an evening or night or whenever I come home, the first thing that greets me at the door, I can't even open the door properly, are those 2 dogs. Are those 2 dogs. Man's best friend. The Lord could have let a dog come out and greet Jephthah, but you know what he said? He said, Satan, you know what? Let those dogs be asleep and let his daughter go out and meet him. Just to see if he will stand by his word. And, you know, a lot of time we make boastings and we sick Satan upon ourselves. Not knowing that that is what we're doing. But we're being tested as Tupac said, every day is a test, yes. Every day is a test. But we have to pass, we have to persevere. We might pass all, might fail some, we might even pass all with flying colors. Alright? But we have to be a better person tomorrow than we are today. Every day, we have to be a better person than we are today, than we were yesterday. Every day. Alright? Every day. That's supposed to be our main objective, our main goal. Alright? That is our main objective. That is our main goal. Just like what happened with Abraham. Abraham, yeah, I love the Lord Yahweh Shemi and Shai. The Lord said, all right, no problem. Yeah, what? Give me Isaac to sacrifice. Give me Isaac to sacrifice. Alright? And Abraham, you know what? What Abraham did? Abraham did it. Abraham did it. You understand? This is the final precept here. This is Proverbs chapter 16 and 2. It says, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. You say, yeah, I'm good, I'm strong, I'm doing nothing, need nothing. It says what? But Yahweh Shemi Shai wait the spirits. So the Lord gonna weigh the spirit. The Lord gonna see if your boasting is true, if your boasting is correct, or if if it's lawful for you to boast. So just remember, when you're making your boast, when you're making your claims, Satan also has his job. And his job is to tempt you and to try you for Yahweh Shemi Shai. So with that, I want to give our praises and our glory to Yahweh Shemi Shai. We give double honors to the apostles of great mercy and do well. Salutation to the men of the Oakland Saints elect. This is Brother Marcus out in Trinidad saying Shalom and stay strong. Shalom.